Good day everyone. So today we will discussing about the Bruner's constructivism theory. So we are done discussing the constructivism theory, which is simply the construction of knowledge and which is the learning is active rather than passive. So today we will be discussing Bruner's constructivism theory, which is the opponent of this theory is named Jerome Bruners. Jerome Bruner said that the essence of creativity is figuring out how to use what you already know in order to go beyond what you already think. So, Jerome Bruners believed that our memories is very important because it gives us a idea to know or in order us to go beyond what we already think. Jerome Bruners believed that knowledge is constructed. That is why we have this theory, which is the Bruner's constructivism theory. Now, learning is an active process. We all believe in that. It is an active process in which learners construct new ideas or concepts based upon their current past knowledge. So the learner selects and transforms information, constructs hypotheses, and makes decisions relying on a cognitive structure to do so. So our prior knowledge is very important by or in constructing a new information by transforming that information to more appropriate one or more accurate one. So as you can see, we have here the advanced organizer by Bruner's constructivism theory. So we have the spiral curriculum, and the other side is the discovery learning. Under that is the representation of knowledge, the theory of instruction, and the categorization. Under the representation of knowledge, we have the inactive, the iconic, and symbolic, and we will discuss it further later. Now, in theory of instruction, we have the predisposition to learn, structure of knowledge, effective sequencing, and we also have the reinforcement. So, in categorization, we will also discuss it later on. So, we will discuss first the spiral curriculum. So, Bruner's spiral curriculum, it is an approach to education that involves regularly revisiting the same educational topics. So, in that spiral curriculum, we go back and go back, or we revisit the educational topics over the course of a student's education. So each time the content is revisited because that is Bruner's belief that the students gains deeper knowledge of that topic kung binabalik-balikan siya. Next naman, we have here the representation of knowledge. So as I said a while ago, representation of knowledge has three. We have the inactive, iconic, and symbolic. So an inactive 0 to 1 year old, which says that thinking is based entirely on physical actions, and infants learn by doing. So they learn by doing something rather than by internal representation or thinking. So learning, he believes that learning or the infants learn by doing rather than by internal representation or by thinking.
So next is a representation of knowledge, or iconic. 1 to 6 years old, information is stored as sensory images. Such icon, usually visual ones, like pictures in the mind. Thinking is also based on the use of other mental images, such as hearing, smell, or touch. So it means that here sa iconic, mas madaling magets ng mga bata kapag mayroon kang maipakitang mga pictures na mas madali nilang magets or maintindihan. And next is symbolic or 7 years onward. Learner has developed the ability of think is abstract terms. This use symbol system or encoded knowledge. So here naman sa symbolic pang 7 years old is ma-develop ang kanilang ability to think kapag mayroon kang mga ipakitang mga abstract ng mga symbols, ng mga symbol system para maano yung mga knowledge nila. Next, theory of instruction. Predisposition to learn introduced the idea of readiness for learning. According to his idea, the teacher would design different event activities that would be the student curiosity. So, Bruner's predisposition to learn, especially the readiness of learning aspect, emphasized the importance of aligning instruction with the student current cognitive development and prior knowledge. So, teachers should design learning experiences, particularly disruptive events that challenge existing understandings and stimulate curiosity, thereby fostering and deeper engagement with the learning materials. Next is structure of knowledge, refers to the way in which a body of knowledge can structured so that it can be most readily grasped by their learners. So, in this Bruner's theory, the structure of knowledge is the most effective way to organize and present information to facilitate learning. It focuses on arranging the content to reveal the underlying relationships between concepts, making it easier for learners to understand and retain the informations.
Theory of instruction. Effective sequencing instruction should lead the learner through the content in order to increase the student ability to grasp or transform and transfer what is learned. It also refers to the idea of revisiting basic ideas over and over, building upon them and elaborating to the level of full understanding and master. The effective sequencing advocates for a structured instructional approach that is progressively built upon prior knowledge. It is emphasized that it is revisiting and elaborating on a basic concept repeatedly, turning to a deeper understanding and the ability to apply and transfer learning to a new situations. Reinforcement. It means the reward and punishment should be selected and placed appropriately. So here's a replacement. It is a principle highlights the importance of truthfully choosing and scheduling rewards and punishment to optimize their impact on learning. The key is to appropriateness, matching the reinforcement strategy to the learner and the learning situation to promote effectively learning and motivation. So, like the appropriate timing, a reinforcement should be given a prompt after a behavior to be the most effective. So, the type of the reinforcement, it is a reward or a punishment, should be relevant to the learners and the situation. Discovery learning. It is the obtaining knowledge for oneself. A learning becomes more meaningful when the students explore their learning environment rather than listen passively to teachers. The discovery learning, it is promotes active knowledge construction. A student engaged in exploration and investigation, formulating and testing the hypothesis rather than passively receiving the information. This active process leads to a more profound and meaningful understanding. This active process leads to a deeper and more meaningful understanding of the material. The teacher's role shifts from being the primary source of the information to being a facilitator who guides and supports the student exploration. Categorization. We have first the identity categories, the equivalent categories, and last is the coding system. So, Bruner's categorization, it describes how learners organize information by grouping similar items. This involves three aspects. We have the identity categories, the identical items, the equivalent categories, items sharing some characteristic, and last is the coding system, which is a system for representing categories and the relationship. It is the effective Learning depends on the ability to form and manipulate these categories. That's all. Thank you.